Well, Mikel Arteta will be returning to action tomorrow as Arsenal plays Crystal Palace at Emirates. It's really a very huge game for Arsenal. You know the reason? If they win, they're going to be 8 points clear because Man City is going to be playing into the FA Cup quarter-final, meaning that if Arsenal win their game of football on Sunday, they'll be 8 points clear, and it's so much important to see to it that they win this game of football, and they'll see themselves wanting to return to winning ways in all competitions. But in the Premier League, they will be wanting to get a 6th win in the row. Remember, the last 5 fixtures, Arsenal have gone ahead to win them. Remember, they beat Fulham 3-0. They beat Bournemouth 3-2. They beat Everton 4-0. They beat Leicester City 1-0 and Aston Villa 4-2. So Arsenal have been on a very good winning run, and they want to really get that win at home, see to it that they strengthen or cement their commanding health lead ahead of City. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you are watching us for the very first time, lower right bottom corner is the place to be. Smash the black button that has the word subscribe. After smashing, hit the notification bell. That will enable you to get notified every time I upload a video onto this channel. But Arsenal comes into this game with two new injuries. That of El Nini, it's known, it has been known for a while, but there are some 2 injuries that Arsenal have really going to face or to really experience. That is the injury of William Saliba and Tomiyasu. And right now, I've not gotten an update from Arsenal about the injuries of these 2 players, but very soon I know we will find ourselves in the know of knowing who is going to be played and who is not going to be played into that fixture of Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. But when you look at the photos, Ben White has been part of the training, Thomas Partey, Jesus, and very many others. They've been part of the training session. And I think Saliba, I've not seen Saliba in the photos. I want to rectify this. On the time of recording, I've not seen William Saliba in the photos of Arsenal. That's it. Because last time I told you that I've not seen Martin Odegaard and his photos were released later. But on the time of recording, I've not seen William Saliba. That's it. So that means Arsenal need to make some huge changes as they really face a side known as Crystal Palace, a side that Arsenal has not gone ahead to win against at Emirates in their last 4 meetings. Last season, it ended 2-2 at Emirates. But this season, Arsenal looked like they are ready to overturn everything and rewrite new history when they went to Selhurst Park and beat Crystal Palace by 2-0. It was the opener of the season. It was Martinelli on the score sheet who opened it up, I think, in the 15th minute of the game. Then Bukayo Saka ran to the byline and brought in a cross, and Guechi, the central defender of Crystal Palace, connected in his own net to make it 2-0 for Arsenal. And that's how Arsenal started their beautiful season that has seen them be on top of this table for very many months, because as the season started, Arsenal were on top of the table. Till now, they are. And they only got off the table once when Man City beat them 3-2. It was a Wednesday, but on the weekend, Arsenal went ahead to beat Aston Villa by 4-2. Then Man City drew with Nottingham Forest, and Arsenal went back to their 5-point gap lead. So that is the situation at Arsenal, but the rest of the players are variable. Jesus, Trossard, name it. All those are variable, but 3 players are really absent. But when you look at Crystal Palace, they are having a very bad form, or a very bad run of games. That's why their manager got sacked. That is Patrick Vieira. Their recent form, in the last 3 games, they've lost all of them. They've lost to Brentford. They lost to Brighton. They lost to Man City. And there's another team they lost with, so they lost to again. So in their last 5 games, they have only 2 points, 2 draws and 3 losses. Arsenal, in their last 5 games, they've found themselves in a position of really winning all those 5 in the Premier League. Though on Thursday they really lost their game of football, but that doesn't count into the Premier League because we are talking about the Premier League. And Albert Sambi Lokonga is one of those players that you don't expect to see in the team of Crystal Palace. That's it. You don't expect him to play or take part into this game. Then the other player that you expect not to see is Vincent Guieta, and is it Nathan Ferguson? So if at all he builds up his fitness, he'll come in back. But Cheikh Doucouré is coming in back, and Mark Guehi are really going to be back. So that adds more to the midfield of Arsenal and to the midfield of Crystal Palace. But with the presence of Jorginho and Thomas Partey, I think that's all sorted. So Mikel Arteta would love to win this one. He would love to win this one. And I think we saw that they really look vulnerable without William Saliba, but I don't see Mikel Arteta forcing him. Why? He knows that there are more important games that he can play after the international break. And I've always told you that God loves Arsenal, guys. You know, you're not getting an injury of William Saliba when you're having only one game to play to go into the international break, because those 3 weeks will see him really recover. Because today is what? Today is 18th. Today is 18th. He got the injury on Thursday. It was around 16th. So if you're returning back on the 1st of April to play the Premier League game of football, those are going to be like 15 days, 16 days for William Saliba. And I think if at all the injury is not serious, he might find himself back into action. That is William Saliba. So for Crystal Palace, they have a new manager who has been training the under-21, McCarthy Pade. He's coming in through to become the manager or the interim, and let's wait and see how they are going to go ahead and really turn this around. Will the new manager bounce be activated at Emirates? Let's wait and see as we go into the predicted starting 11 that Mikel Arteta is expected to really name all front to face a side called Crystal Palace at the Emirates. The system is 4-3-3. 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 3 forwards. That is Mikel Arteta for you. And there are lots of questions about whether Jesus is going to be in contention to start. Obviously, he's in contention to start because he started in the game of Sporting Lisbon, and he played 45 minutes, meaning that in this game, he can play more minutes. Why? In the game of Fulham, he played 13. In the game of Sporting Lisbon, he played 45, meaning that he added 32 more. So that means he can add some 15 more. And if at all is to start, he can play close to 60 minutes into that beautiful game of football. Or otherwise, he can even go ahead and play a full 90. That's it, because looks like he's really fired up with those 45 minutes in his legs. I think he can fire in more into the game. When we go to the lineup, Aaron Ramsdale saved Arsenal a lot on the day, and I don't blame him for that goal, because as a sweeper goalkeeper, when the ball is just 2-3 yards past the center line, you can't be in your goal. That's it. You have to really maintain what we call your goalkeeping your ball sweeping distance, meaning that you must find yourself off the line a little bit. But Goncalves is really the brilliant guy. You just have to really give him his flowers. By slating Ramsdale, that means you're not giving him the flowers that he deserves. You just have to really give him the best that he deserves, because he really went ahead and did the needful onto the day. That is Goncalves. But Ramsdale is going to get himself back in goal for Arsenal as far as this fixture is concerned. Now, after that, right back, Tomiyasu injured, Ben White available. Who do you think is starting? I think he's playing Ben White here. I'm seeing Ben White being played as a right back into this game. And then on the left back, it's really a very huge quarrel between the Kientieni lovers. I did a story yesterday or today morning that Kientieni is going to be sold by Arsenal. I've seen some Arsenal fans say that Kientieni is better than Zinchenko. Really? Guys, Zinchenko is better than Kientieni. That's it. Zinchenko is the new school left back. Tierney is the left school left back, and Mikel Arteta knows it very well, and I think, though he's undecided as reported to us by Jacobs Ben, but I think he's going to be sold. So I think Contention again has no chance to start. Why? On Thursday, in that game I expected him to start, the manager never played him. He played Zinchenko, and I think however much Zinchenko played 120 minutes, the manager is really going to start Zinchenko here. Unless otherwise, we are surprised, but I see Zinchenko starting into that fixture. Now, after that, we go to the central defense where William Saliba is not going to be played. So that means Gabriel Magalhaes is maintaining his position as a left-sided player, playing on the left side of the central defense. Then, in the position of William Saliba, that is the right side of the central defense, we would have expected Ben White to come in and play into that position, but because Tomiyasu got an injury, I think it's going to be Rob Holding to play into that game. And if I told you Rob Holding and Arteta doesn't give you this game, you have to go all and really raise all types of questions to him that why can't I start against Crystal Palace? That's it. You have to go on and really start against Crystal Palace because it's a team that however much is really having very many. It's a team that however much it's having very many attackers like the Zahas, the Matetas, the Duados. You just have to know that things have to really go your way and obviously find yourself in a position of really winning in everything. And I think if you can't start a player called called Rob Holding in this game, then if at all I'm Rob Holding, I just have to find myself a team in the summer and leave Arsenal. So I think Rob Holding is going to start, Ben White is going to be maintained onto the right back, and I think Arsenal are really going to be having the lion's share of the possession. Thomas Partey will play in the midfield, all Jorginho, and they will win it. So they're having lots of options, and I think they are really favorites for this game. Single pivot. I think Thomas Partey is coming in for Jorginho. Jorginho played very well, by the way. And you saw that line splitting pass that found Gabriel Martinelli on Thursday that resulted into the first goal that Arsenal scored. It shows you how important he is. But I think Thomas Partey, when he came in through, he really gave Arsenal more control of the midfield, and he's going to start because he played close to, when you add the 30, they played in extra time. When you add the 30, he played in extra time, and the 28, that means he played close to 58 minutes. That is a player known as Thomas Partey starting into the single pivot of Arsenal. Alongside him is a man who rested for close to 90 minutes and played like 30 or 40 minutes. That is Martin Odegaard into the game. And he played very, very well into that game. When he came on through, it showed you that he's one of the most important players at Arsenal. However much Partey was on, Xhaka was on, Saka was on, Martinelli was on, it looked like it was really lacking in the final third. And when he came in through, Arsenal looked more of a threat and got several chances when he was really playing as a central attacking midfielder, all and number 10, that is Martin Odegaard. And a man who got the goal for Arsenal on Thursday, that is Granit Xhaka, is going to be played into the three-man midfield on the left side of it. So Partey in the single pivot, Odegaard and Granit Xhaka alongside his either shoulders into that midfield three. That's how it's really going to be for a team of Arsenal in the midfield. Now let's go to the forwards and how we expect them to really be. However much he played 120 minutes, I think he's going to be played. He's going to be played here again. That is Bukayo Saka. No way to bench him. I think he's going to be started by the manager, Mikel Arteta. Now, we go to the left side. I think after much he played 120 minutes, the best way to reward him having missed a penalty is to give him this game and he starts it. That is Gabriel Martinelli. He should start this one too. He should start it because every time he starts, he has some magic, and he has been really recently he has been in good form, because even in the game of Sporting Lisbon, he would have found himself on target, but the goalkeeper saved that, or saved his effort that Xhaka capitalized onto and really hit that ball into the back of the net. That is Martinelli for you. Now, the big decision or the big question comes in through on who is going to lead the line. Is it Trossard or Gabriel Jesus? Now, I think the reason as to why Jesus started the game of Sporting Lisbon was because the manager knew that if at all he brought him through, the game would go to extra time and they wouldn't like to play him very many minutes, according to my thinking. But I think with this game, having no extra time, it leaves me baffled and confused on as to what is going to be done. That's it. Is he going to play Leandro Trossard or start Jesus? My mind is telling me this. This man is starting. That is Leandro Trossard. I see Leandro Trossard starting that game. Then Jesus will come in as an impact substitute. That's it. Because I think Trossard is good, but I think he doesn't hit the ground running when you bring him on. I think it better he starts. Then you see how Martinelli would have really played, because Martinelli played 120 minutes. If at all he's looking tired, you take off Martinelli and get on Jesus as Trossard switches to the left and Jesus leads through the center. So that's my predicted starting 11 of Arsenal, and I think Arsenal winning this one by 3-0 or 3-1. That's my prediction. I think they are winning. They are getting back to winning ways. This is going to be like a finale. Out of the 11 they talked to us about, that is Leandro Trossard, Mikel Arteta, and Odegaard, they've gone ahead to call the last 11 games as finales. So as Arsenal comes to the level of going to the international break, they need these 3 points to go 8 points ahead of City, and I'm predicting a 3-1 win or a 3-0 win of Arsenal ahead of Crystal Palace. We accept there is a new manager bounce, but I think it has not yet done any favor for any team, especially when you're playing away from, especially when playing at your home. You get, I think it has a lot of impact when you're playing away from home, like you saw United versus Aston Villa, Unai Emery beating United 3-1, Arsenal versus Everton, Sean Dyche was in, and the new manager effect affected them. Arsenal was beaten by 1-0. Other players raised themselves high. So to me, I think Arsenal winning this one. However much Crystal Palace are really going to look so aggressive and relentless, I don't see them really going ahead not to really get the best they deserve from Arsenal. But Arsenal is going to be a very good team, and I think Rob Holding is time to really reveal or announce himself to Mikel Arteta. I can play this game without Saliba, and we have no reason to go all out and bring in another right-footed central defender to do the job. So your thoughts onto that are welcome in the comment section below. I call upon your predictions too. Tell me your predictions, and who do you think should play in that position of William Saliba? Who do you think should be played in that position of William Saliba, because Saliba is out? For Tomias, we know that Ben White is really out. Ben White is really present, and you can as well debate on whether to play Ben White in the central defense and then find a player to play in the right back. I've seen others contemplating on getting Thomas Partey to play in the central defense alongside Gabriel Magalhaes. Then Jorginho plays in the CDM position. So that's all I had for you today. My prediction, 3-0, 3-1 in favor of Arsenal. May the Almighty God bless you abundantly. I sign out for now. See you later, my lovely mates, and may the Almighty God bless you abundantly. I'm out.